Welcome everybody. I want to introduce you guys to a brand new podcast with your co-host JR. Going to be called Good Times. We're going to be talking everything basketball, recaps of every week by week basis, as far as hot takes, any changes that's going on, the new in-season tournament as well. And for our first week, we're going to be having our guest, Jose, longtime friend of mine, and have been hanging out since 15 years, been friends ever since.
What up, guys? So, my name's Jose, and man, thank you for having me here today. I know when you first told me this, it was very exciting to hear, and I'm excited to talk basketball. Like JR said, we've been friends for a minute. We've always watched ball, we played ball, and it's kind of just been an idea that we always pitch back and forth. But now we're doing it, so I'm excited, and just excited to have you guys along the ride too.
Alright, so our first take we're going to be talking about this week is going to be how this NBA season is going for the 23-24 season. Right now, first thing I can see, there's a new superstar in the making in Victor Wembanyama.
Ooh.
Just thinking about that right now, he just had a 38-point game. He's going to break the NBA. Other than that, Phoenix Suns, they have a new team. They're looking pretty good. Celtics and Bucks. You're a Celtic fan. They're my favorites right now to win the title.
Might be our year, baby.
Yeah, and the in-season tournament is probably the biggest thing of all. They're trying to do more of a European soccer style tournament in the middle of a season. I personally enjoy it. I think if they just keep improving it every year, it'll end up being something big. I don't think right now their current system might entice the lower salary players, but as far as the bigger names that, care about the championship, what are your takes?
Yeah, man, just a lot to unpack this season. For starters, I think this season for sure has a lot to be excited for. Like, as you touched on it with the number one draft pick, Victor, that guy is special, man. That guy is special. For only being 19, his handles, his length for starters, and I think Stephen A said this on First Take, but he literally was like, you got to watch out for him because he's not getting worse. He's only going to get better. If he looks scary right now, when he's 20, 21 and so on, he's going to continue to get better. And that's facts. Any player that dedicates time is going to continue to get better. So that's scary for sure. Yeah, in-season tournament, play-in tournament, that's been a huge success. And I know we kind of touched on it a little bit before we started recording, but kind of the star players now, like KD, Curry, LeBron. I know I'm forgetting a few other. Well, Dame Lillard, he's up there on age too. But a lot of these players, they're getting up there, but they're still crushing it in the league. Yeah. And I think it's, they're definitely a special talent. But what's gonna be awesome to see is kind of the newer generation stepping in and basically going toe to toe with these players and standing their ground. So that's pretty exciting, being that we're Phoenix natives. We're all on the buzz on the Phoenix Suns and kind of the changes that they've been experiencing. And I live in Phoenix too, so I see the culture it's impacted and kind of the fan base where it's at now. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, a lot to unpack. So I think we can take it from there.
Yeah, I think some additions is just where we're at right now in the NBA. We're in a transition right now of those big names, as you were saying, Jose, with the KDs, the LeBrons, Currys. They're on their way out, but we don't really notice it as much just because of how good they are, as you were saying.
Yeah.
You don't realize what do they have? Maybe 2-3 years. Maybe they'll retire. LaMelo, I see him up and coming. Wembanyama. There's Devin Booker. He's a little older than the other up-and-coming ones, but he's already established along Jason Tatum. Luka almost had, 50 points a couple days ago?
I think so, yeah. Luka.
So, we're already seeing what the future is going to be, and it's very exciting to know that once these big names are going to leave, the NBA is still in good hands.
Yeah.
The league is even more exciting than ever. In the 2010s, I think, 5-6 years of those 10, Warriors, Cavaliers. We knew what the outcome was going to be. And I think right now, starting in the 2020s, there's been a new champion every single year. Yeah. And I think it gives everybody hope for whatever fan base you come from. anybody can take it. I mean, in the West, there's easily 5-6 teams that can win it potentially. I'm a Laker fan. I know I have my own biases, but I have to, be real right now. The way they're playing right now, I don't think they are gonna make it. I mean, with the Clippers having James Harden, I think that already knocks them out.
Woj bomb right there.
Yeah, that already blows them out of potentially getting that chip this year, unless our depth ends up actually doing something for once. D'Lo is being D'Lo again, not contributing at all except for the first 2 games. Austin Reeves is kind of picking it up a little bit.
I remember.
I mean, it's going to take some time. Maybe he's just getting used to the new salary he's getting, the new expectations, might be getting to him a little bit. But he'll pick it up. And, I mean, the Celtics, they had a new team now looking like, too. I mean, you guys any take on that?
Crazy, man. Well, I like everything what you said. It's facts. We can dive deep into all those teams and stuff. But I think one thing that really stood out so far is, like, the NBA league is in good hands. And, dude, instantly in my mind, like, if we could just, like, camp here for a little bit. Sacramento Kings. Yeah. Bro, kind of what we were talking about, the future, the young people coming up. Dude, Sacramento Kings right now, De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis, Monk. Dude, their head coach. Okay, I'm just thinking of last season when they took the Warriors to Game 7. They did this to the returning champs like Golden State, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Golden State was healthy too, because they had Clay, Draymond, Curry, all those guys. Looney is just a beast as a center too. But dude, that was probably one of the most exciting series I actually got to witness like in a few years. And what made it exciting was I got to watch every game and just see them go back to back. I will say I think Sacramento could make a deeper playoff run than last year, because they didn't make it past the first round, but that was the first time they made the playoffs since, I want to say, like 17 years from now. So yeah. But I forgot their coach's name, but he super underrated coach. I think that they're gonna make some noise this season.
Yeah, I think they definitely developed that culture already. I mean, I'm sure if you're in Sacramento, you see them coming up, all these young stars just going up all at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be a generational team. As more time goes by, they're just going to keep getting better and better. To be honest, De'Aaron Fox, I think that was the year with Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. They got the same draft class.
I was so excited that we got Lonzo.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, we don't need De'Aaron. Like, injuries aside, unfortunately, with what Lonzo's going through right now, he's even injured right now still.
Yeah.
Even if he wasn't injured, I mean, De'Aaron Fox, I think easily is a better player than Lonzo.
That boy's fast.
Lonzo's still capable, but those injuries are just holding him back right now.
Yeah. No, De'Aaron Fox is special. He's very good point guard. He is very fast. He controls the ball well. I think he makes good decisions as a point guard too. What kind of blew my mind, taking it back even a previous year, was them getting rid of Tyrese Halliburton. And I don't know if you're familiar with his game, but he's special too. He's doing good things, but now it kind of makes sense because I think they saw that number one star needed for the point, and they kind of had to part ways with Tyrese. But for De'Aaron Fox I think that's what's special about the NBA. You never know when those players are just going to have a breakout season, because I think De'Aaron Fox was always good, but only the past few years he's actually like elevated his game like even higher, and I'm glad that he's finally getting like recognized for that. So I think that's enough about the Kings. I just wanted to talk about that real fast.
Speaking of Tyrese Halliburton, you're right. I don't keep up with the Pacers too well. I don't really know. I just see, he's doing big numbers, and if I'm not mistaken, they're doing pretty good overall. I think they have at least a winning record.
Yeah. If I could pull that up.
Most of it is Halliburton, but the other Tyrese I also want to talk about, Tyrese Maxey.
Ooh, Tyrese Maxey. Yeah.
I think there wouldn't have been a perfect time that he's coming up and actually making this impact on this team.
Yeah.
Right, with the whole Harden situation, him wanting to leave, not going to practices, something about him not getting on a plane for the team. I think security wasn't allowing him to. I don't know the details of that.
Yeah.
But just all of that was perfect timing for Tyrese Maxey to kind of let all that baggage go let Harden go to the Clippers, keep improving. Hopefully, Joel Embiid stays happy. I mean, who knows? If they don't do well, I believe, this is my take, if they don't do well this year, I think he might want to leave. I don't know. I know he's always said trust the process.
Yeah.
Since, 2013, 2014, but it's been a long time now. He's going on to almost 10 years in his career. Yeah. And if they don't push it further, have they made it to the conference finals before? I think they might have.
I think
the Raptors, right?
No, what's crazy about that is that was the semifinals for these, because it was Raptors back when they had Kawhi there.
Yeah.
And that went down to a game 7, and that's when Kawhi hit that crazy shot. But that was just the East semifinals. Then it was Raptors Bucks.
Okay.
But
yeah, I mean, Tyrese Maxey. I mean, he looks. I anticipated he was gonna do well, but not this well. I didn't think he was gonna be like all-star level.
Yeah. Like
immediately after he gets all this free time to get those opportunities.
No, Tyrese Maxey is cold. He's really good and special as well. And I'm very happy because Philly fan base, if you're a Philly fan, like, just, I don't know how you guys have been doing it, because you guys had to go through the Ben Simmons issue. Joel Embiid has been injured, like, I think pretty heavily, like when it matters at least. And then with the whole James Harden thing unfolding now too, you guys lost him already, so it's just tough. But I think Tyrese Maxey is definitely a player that wants to be there. He knows he's special and has the ability. And Philly, don't get me wrong, Philly's still like a big franchise. Those fans are dedicated. I think it's Wells Fargo Arena. That stadium's huge, and they still have potential to go far. Who's their head coach right now? Because they got rid of Doc. Is it Nick Nurse from the Raptors? That was crazy. That was like so random. I didn't think Nick Nurse was that good of a coach, to be honest. But no, I wish the best for Tyrese Maxey. He can definitely lead that team. And with Joel Embiid, so it's interesting. Like, I'm not no Joel Embiid hater, but I will say he's not like one of my favorites. Like, he does go off and he does his thing, but I think it's just like, for as big as he is, the amount of flops he does, and he typically gets to the free throw line. Like, I get it, you got to do what you got to do to get those wins, and he's smart. He executes it well, so I respect that. But if he, like, say if they don't go far and he requests out, the only thing I will say is I feel like Embiid has the right to request that, because he's put up crazy numbers. He was an MVP candidate, I think, the past 2 years. And he does want to be there, and he does show up to ball. So let's just say they don't go far. If he requests a trade, that'd be crazy.
I know what team I want him to
go to. I do too as well, but
I feel like the best fit for him would be the Knicks.
Oh, bro, I was gonna say the Heat.
The Heat?
Yeah, because him and Butler.
I mean, that would be good, but I feel like he's more of a, I don't know. I think of him and I just think of like Big Lights New York. I don't know why. Big Lights New York. Maybe I just think of like Patrick Ewing, like the next big man for them. And it's been like 30 years with that, but still, like, I don't know. I can see him in a Knicks uniform. He is a good option too. I can see.
Bro,
I don't know what the salary cap is, so.
Can you imagine, like, you're just like a 6'2" guard playing the point, and then like you got to go to Madison Square Garden and you got to face Julius Randle and Joel Embiid. Those are big bodies, dude, and those dudes will move you. Like, like, you can say what you want about Julius Randle. I know he's like up and down, but like, dude, he plays bully ball. He with not like shouldering them, but like he just moves players and he makes it look effortlessly. So yeah. But that'd be interesting if he goes to the Knicks. I mean, I know the Knicks would definitely be a lot better, and they got Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson's the key, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, he was a good pickup.
Yeah, I think Jalen Brunson definitely has to stay, build around him. Obviously, if Joel Embiid goes with them, I mean, that'd be a really good 1-2 right there.
Yeah.
I think if that happens, though, Julius Randle would have to get traded. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see him fitting if that kind of happens, because he's more of a. He doesn't really shoot I mean, like you said, he plays bully ball. Like, he kind of plays like a LeBron, like just going to the paint.
Yeah.
And just, trying to get those buckets. I mean, he easily can too, but
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I don't see him being in there for the future at least.
Yeah. Facts, man. I know we're kind of on the East right now. I guess like one team we haven't even touched on, but is like was one of the biggest Woj bombs this offseason too. Was the Bucks picking up Damian Lillard, dude.
Yeah.
Like crazy, dude.
Yeah, I think I don't know. When I saw the games, Damian Lillard seemed to be more of a he was like the center point of the team. It almost seemed like Giannis and Chris Middleton, they had to adjust. Damian Lillard just kind of went in there and he's just Damian Lillard.
You're saying Middleton and Giannis had to adjust to Lillard's playing?
I think it's because it's a true ball handler that can create his own shot. They kind of have to find a way to, I don't know, like I guess share the possession more maybe.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even sometimes Giannis would kind of get the ball, go down the paint, and he would do whatever he wanted to. I mean, he had free reign, and now with somebody as ball dominant as Damian Lillard, they need to find a way to get those pick and rolls more. I think maybe that's what they need to work on more, just those pick and rolls, make that more efficient.
Yeah. I agree with as far as the fact that they have a few things to figure out. It's understandable when you have that much of dominant players, and also they, this is the first time they're actually playing on a team. Bucks also have a new head coach. I'm looking him up right now. I just lost him, but I believe his name was Adrian Griffin.
Yeah.
Dude, don't know where he came from, but obviously, has to be a good coach to be the head coach for them. So I wonder how much that has weighed on him as well, him kind of managing the, Lillard, Giannis, and Chris Middleton. The few games I got to see is interesting because Lillard, this is what a few plays I've seen. Like Lillard is kind of expecting the ball to run it up because he plays the point. But I've actually been seeing Giannis dribble up or Middleton dribble up, and then kind of Lillard's been playing off the ball. He's just been kind of lingering on the side, and however that plays out, whether they score or not, like the few moments I saw at least, like Lillard is kind of more of the person like trying to figure out his exact like effectiveness in the puzzle. But I forgot what game it was, but it was actually sick because it looked like it was what their potential could be, because Lillard closed the game for them, and he sank like a deep three, Dame time. I was wanting him to do it like in the Bucks arena, but I don't know. Do you think Lillard can take that trademark with him?
When you think of that, you think of Damian Lillard, no matter where he goes.
Yeah.
Like it's just gonna. I hope no one. Well, I'm sure people will. Once he retires, he's done.
Yeah.
People might start, doing that too.
Yeah, because I know he's been in Portland forever. He's been loyal. That's where it originated. It goes hard too, because he's saying some nasty threes.
Well. Yeah.
So I was like, I guess I was just waiting for it to witness that in a Milwaukee arena, and like, of course, I can see the fans enjoying it and loving it, but
he's gonna do it to the Trailblazers.
Yeah, dude. Can you imagine that? Yeah. Like, I wouldn't know how to respond as a fan. Like, if I was a Trailblazer fan, like whether to be like heartbroken or happy.
Yeah.
But like, what's one player I could think of, man? Like, let's see. Because I don't know who in the Lakers does like a trademark. I know D'Lo does ice in the veins, but
everyone, like the whole Laker team does that now. Every time they score, they do it. I feel like everyone just kind of got watered down because everyone does it now. We can quickly talk about is the in-season tournament. I know the season just started with that, the very first year trying it out.
Yeah.
I think the format is, so they pretty much divide up the actual division teams. Groups, and they split them up and I think group up 2 or 3 different divisions into one group in a format, and they each play each other one time. After that, whoever has the highest 2, I want to say, points go into the elimination games. They're pretty much doing it like the format of the European soccer, the way they do it over there. There's tournaments in the middle of an actual season, and I mean it's still a pretty important thing to try and win those trophies as well. I personally, them trying it out, I think it's a good idea. I think the time of year that they're also doing it, kind of doing it towards the beginning of the season, it kind of gives more of a purpose for these first games. I mean, I think, business-wise, this is around the time that they don't get as many viewers. With that alone, I know that's why they're trying to entice the audience. They're trying to do this. Now, the only thing that I have in question is if what the current reward is enough to entice the teams. I want to say it's 500 grand that the winners get, each player. And personally, I mean, the lower tier players, the ones that don't really, you know, have much of a salary, I don't know the way to put it, compared to the stars. I mean, they're gonna want to do it, you know.
Yeah.
But as far as the bigger names, you know, the teams that have like, you know, the big threes, big twos, even.
Yeah.
Are they gonna be as motivated? Even though at least the games will be also for the actual season.
Yeah,
so I mean, that's one thing.
Still impacts their overall season.
Yeah, I mean, what are your first thoughts on it?
Bro, I have so many questions, man, about this in-season tournament. First of all, bro, I'm still trying to understand in general. I mean, for starters, I like the idea. I love NBA doing a push to kind of add some more flavor to the season, attract more of that fan base, and make it more, I guess, interesting for the players. So I'm definitely rolling with it. I support it. I think it's good for the league, good for the community, and it could be exciting for us as fans to watch. But, bro, even that, you explaining it was hard for me to keep up, dude. Because
I was getting confused while I was explaining it.
Dude, yeah, like I think there's just but with that, you know, it's not me knocking it. I think it's just like, you know, it's the first year. It's the introduction. I think even the players themselves are trying to figure it out, like the rules, regulation, how it's all going to play out. So I think with that, you know, it's going to, you know, if we see this next year, you know, I think, you know, we'll feel a lot more comfortable with it, understanding how it goes. But once I can understand it, you know, I think I'll appreciate it more. But I agree with you, man. I think the lower tier players, the ones that kind of they're given more of an opportunity to make a name for themselves, or just prove their skill sets. And I can definitely see some players being hungry to showcase that, but also you know, vouch for that money. You know, I think that's a good incentive for them.
Yeah.
For the higher tier players, yeah, I think I am questioning, I guess, and you brought it up, how impactful or how motivated the you know, the all-stars are already, or the big dogs already in the league. So I don't think they really care so much about the money. You know, maybe this is just me sharing my thoughts. I could be wrong, but I don't think, you know, it's, I guess, as impactful as much as the money incentive is, because these players are already making big bucks, you know. But I am buying into them seeing, because it's still impacting their regular season. So obviously they still want to get that win. They still want to go ahead and help the team, you know, and help them out as far as seeding. I know we're going to touch on it here shortly, but I think the court design itself kind of gives it more of a tournament style feel. So I think, I guess, once we actually see those games play out, the players are going to feel that competitiveness and that extra drive to make it really feel like a tournament. So we'll see, man. You know, I've seen people have doubts about the play-in tournament, but that's been a success. Play-in tournament's been dope to watch so far, and I guess those are my thoughts on it. Just kind of have to wait and see how it plays out.
That's a good point you make with the play-in games. I know when everybody first heard about it, well, not everybody, but a large majority, they were very iffy about it, and I think it fit its purpose. There's no other better way that it could have fit its purpose. It added 2 more teams to be in the race to try and get it to the playoffs. You know, made it more competitive, and hopefully that's transitioning towards, you know, this in-season tournament. I mean, the first day that it happened, the games were all really close. I mean, one went to overtime.
Yeah.
I think there was one controversial one with the Warriors.
Yeah, that one was. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a drama, like, I mean,
goaltending.
So there's no more. What else do you want in a game? You know, like, for that tournament, and then with the design of the courts, I personally like the way they look. It gives it a feel as if it's, even though it's still part of the regular season, it's something new. It's something else that's happening. You know.
Yeah.
That you'll be able to distinguish the two with those courts. I hope they do that for the rest of the games. I think that helps it perfectly to differentiate them. back to, what that prize should be. I think they need to go bigger. My opinion. I think for everyone to care just as equal, I think they need to go big. I've heard people where if you win the tournament, no matter what team you are, you're guaranteed the 8th seed.
Ooh, I heard that take. I got a lot to say. I got a lot to say about that. But I heard that one.
I've heard others I'm not such a fan of is you get a higher seed, or not a higher seed, but drafting. It helps you drafting. Maybe you get a better chance of drafting somebody better. Say your odds were at 5%, now they're at 8%, something like that.
I like the draft take because typically, like, what is it, like the worst performing team that has a better chance?
That's a good
point. For the draft.
Yeah.
But no, I like that being an incentive for the tournament because like, what about those teams that I guess are, say they had a really good season, they're like, I don't know, like 3rd seed, maybe 2nd seed. I guess I could be wrong, but you don't really hear about them being placed high in the draft pick.
Yeah.
So I can get behind that because I think that will motivate them to perform better. I do not like the take though, like that they're guaranteed the 8th seed for the in tournament. So I definitely see if that's projected, players would be more competitive.
Yeah.
I just think it defeats the whole purpose of the regular season. If it's like that, because let's just say a team wins it. When is it? December the tournament ends.
Yeah.
Like if you're guaranteed a spot, like what do you still have to do the play-in tournament or
okay.
But even I guess before the play-in tournament, let's just say they're guaranteed that spot. They're in that mindset. I don't know, man. I can feel like they maybe not take the remaining season as serious. Like yes, they will, but they have that safety net. Like I'm guaranteed a spot. So I think that's the purpose of the whole regular season. But that's at least my thoughts on that on that one.
And there's variables to that. I know one of them. I mean, to make it more of a reasonable accomplishment is instead of guaranteeing the 8th spot, they guarantee, say if there's like a tiebreaker, say you guys have the same record, and say it's the 7th or 8th seed or whatever seed you are in, and if there's a tiebreaker, especially for the West teams, I mean you saw it last year with how many teams are so competitive.
Yeah. It was like they were like half games apart.
The last, I think so, like it was like what 6 through 10. They were like one game behind each other pretty much for like the last 5th of the season.
Yeah.
And I mean that could potentially be something.
Wild West, man.
Yeah, that could be something where, I mean, maybe I can see the Pelicans, or who else would be Timberwolves. I can see those teams being kind of in the bottom, potentially making it to, whether it be the 8th. I mean, maybe not the 8th seed, but in the play-in.
Yeah.
I think that would be perfectly for those kinds of teams. But again, there just still has to be that balance for, every team to feel like they need it,
Yeah.
Because, I mean, who knows? What if it's the Nuggets? They're the 3rd seed, 2nd seed, and they get the tiebreaker. Okay? They're a really good team, and maybe it doesn't even really matter for them as much,
Yeah.
They already have the advantage of, everybody says it, their stadium is, like, very highly elevated, so they already have an advantage there, is what everyone says. But yeah, I mean, who knows?
Denver elevation, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been there. I don't know what it's like, but
I never been there either, man. But I know the higher you go up, the thinner the air is.
Yeah. All right, so our last topic of the day is going to be our predictions so far for the last 2 weeks. Who we think is going to be coming off on top for the conference finals on each side.
Yep.
I think I'll start with the West. I think
Wild
number 1.
West, baby.
Yeah, let's look at number 1. So, number 1, I think it's going to be the defending champions, the Denver Nuggets. I mean, they haven't skipped a beat.
That was my pick too.
They're doing great. I mean, they might even make it to the finals. Who knows? But I don't see any flaws at all. Everyone loses. I mean, it's fine, but they're looking the best so far. As far as my pick on who they're going to be playing against, I have a feeling that they might get it right, and it's going to keep getting better, but I think it's going to be the Clippers.
Bro, what? We're in sync. We're in sync there.
Yeah,
those are my 2 picks.
I think the Clippers are... I don't know. I think the way Kawhi and Paul George alone, how they've been playing, that alone, they're going to make it to the conference finals. Every year what happens with them is they just get injured. they have the ability to get to the conference finals every year.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, but with the Suns, that's an easy pick, but I feel like something's going to happen with them. I don't know why. I have a feeling.
I don't like what I'm seeing. Well, I mean, it's hard to say because we haven't seen.
It's still too early.
We haven't seen Beal, Book, KD on the floor yet. That could change and everything. But no, I'm with you, man. And just there's a lot to unpack. You know, being Phoenix natives, we've been following that team like hard. But bro, I'm not confident on the coaching staff, Frank Vogel. I also. This is hard because we haven't seen all three All-Stars yet on the floor, but you know that's definitely, we know what they can do offensively, but just wondering what they're gonna do defensively, and also what about those nights when those buckets aren't scoring? You know, is it gonna be ISO the whole entire time? You know, it's I haven't seen much like team plays much from the Suns, and I could be wrong. You know, they could be doing some nice plays, but so far what I'm seeing, I just feel like they're still missing something. And I know that's hard to say because we haven't seen those three on the floor yet, but I just got to wait and see. So far, I just think Denver's definitely like more well-polished and like already there.
Yeah, I mean, if someone told me in 2023 there's going to be a team with Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden.
And Ty Lue head coach.
I wouldn't believe that, but I don't know. Even with the head coach and Ty Lue, I feel like if anybody can make it work, he'd be one of the coaches that's going to be able to make it work.
Yeah.
It all, to be honest, comes down to James Harden and the way he is going to take everything. Yeah. There was an interview, I think I remember hearing about him saying that he doesn't be, I'm not going to say it verbatim, I don't remember, but something along the lines of he is the system. If that mentality he's going to go across with the season, it's not going to go well, but I have a feeling it's going to be okay. I think they'll make it at least to the conference finals.
Yeah, as much as me picking to the Clippers, like to being one of the top two teams out the West, I don't want to say that lightly because I still want to call them out. Bro, Kawhi, you need to get it together and just you're capable of playing incredible defense, and dude, his shot is like when he's locked in, but I don't know if it's a mixture of him just being injury prone or just him being like accustomed to always having load management. But I think he just needs to finally break out of that, and obviously, you know, if he's healthy and stuff, but just break out of that and dude, show up, because I think another part of their problem with their injury, aside from their injury factors, is dude, they didn't get much time together all on the court. It was always something going on, load management, injuries, and dude, that's annoying, bro. I'm ready to see them like be that team, and they can only. I think what really works hand in hand with that is the only way they're gonna get out of the West is if they build that chemistry, they have that identity, and they know how to play off each other. Because just naming all those four All-Stars, Westbrook, Kawhi, PG, and Harden, if those teams if those players aren't in sync and they don't play well together, it's just gonna be like another like projected super team that failed, in my opinion. So I have hopes for them because I think like what you said, they can figure it out, but these players need to show up and like dedicate that to build that on the team. You have anything else to say about that, the Clippers?
No, that's pretty much it. We can move on to the Eastern real quick.
Yeah,
I think number one, no debate, I already know, Celtics. They're going to make it to the conference finals.
Yeah.
Right now, there's nobody that's better than them in the East. Yeah. My second one, I don't know why, but I have a feeling something's going to go wrong with the Bucks. So they're not going to make it to the conference
Interesting.
finals. Yeah, I think it's going to be the Sixers. Maybe they're going to find the recipe. Joel Embiid will get to the conference finals and have that opportunity to get to the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I know he has a track record of not doing good in the playoffs. He always kind of has like kind of reminds you of Anthony Davis. How Anthony Davis kind of, in the regular season at least, he's like really back and forth of doing good and bad.
Yeah.
During the season. And Joel Embiid, I think they've had it already rough for so many years. Yeah. He always just, does bad in the playoffs. I think this is a year that he'll finally get to that elevation where he'll be actually good in the playoffs, actually be liable with the Bucks. I would like to include them. I would, it'd be nice. You know, I feel like everything would be perfect with all the teams that made it, as far as, you know, on the East with the new additions and the Celtics and the Bucks, and on the West, you know, with the Nuggets defending champions and the Clippers who just got James Harden. I know they're still iffy on that just because of how many, you know, egos, I don't know what else to call it, are going to be on that team. From there, I don't know if that'll work out, but if there is a team that I think isn't going to make it, it'd be the Bucks. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just based off of what I've seen. I'm not that thoroughly impressed yet. As of now, my East teams are going to be the Celtics and the Bucks.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, was not expecting the Sixers, just because of the Bucks being a power team. But I mean, for me, you already know what it is. It's gonna be Celtics coming out, just because I feel like they're the most established team still. They were able to keep their same head coach in Joe Mazzulla. It's his second time being head coach, so I think he was able to shake off the first season nerves and kind of figure out the system. But he was always part of the coaching staff, even with Ime Udoka previously. Celtics were able to keep their core identity team, and their main pickups really, man, were going to be Porzingis and Drew Holiday, and just both incredible players. I think them moving to Boston is going to only elevate their game and help them continue that establishment and that identity in the Celtics. And I mean, they look really good right now. Celtics have been to the finals. They got a taste of what that's like. They've been to the Eastern Conference Finals countless times. It's, you know, their time is definitely now, and if not now, then definitely the future. So I really wish, you know, them the best in the long run and see what they can do. I do think the Bucks, you know, even though they don't look that appealing right now or that interesting, I do think they're gonna figure it out, just because Giannis being so dominant. Just talking about what could go wrong or if something could go wrong, I think last year was a testimony of that for the Bucks. First seed being knocked out by the 8th seed and to the Heat, I think that really put a chip on Giannis's shoulder. So this year he really wants to make an impact and let his presence be known, letting the league know that he's still who he is, and that's being a dominant player. I think throughout the season, Bucks are going to figure it out, and I definitely do see them, you know, getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. You know, obviously depending how the seeding looks and all that. But my takes are going to be Celtics Bucks from the East.
Yeah, I think earlier I said Celtics Bucks, but I meant Celtics 76ers. But yeah, I mean, time will tell. You know, who ends up getting there. Did you have any last takes at all, anything at all before we wrap this up?
I think this season has potential to be one of the most exciting seasons. You know, this is the first time we're seeing this many super teams being in the league. New rollouts with the in-season tournament and the play-in tournament. The potential trades could still happen, right? The trade deadline is until what, February, I think. Yeah. So who knows? You know, there could be some crazy things still happening, man. I'm excited. You know, thank you for having me today as your first official guest on this podcast. And I mean, I think we're both also interested to see what you guys have in mind or who your picks are, even topics that you want to hear on this podcast. So I think that those are my last takeaways.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to go ahead and close it out here. I appreciate you guys watching, listening to our thoughts about, you know, the first couple weeks of the NBA, how everything's going. And you know, I appreciate you guys coming here and watching our first episode of The Good Times with your host, JR, and our very first guest, Jose. And I hope you guys had a good time watching.